So at the time of recording, Wuthering Waves just released their version 1.3 Black Shores broadcast, and honestly, it was amazing. Now, I know I'm a little bit late to this because I have some things I have to do, and this will probably be out like a couple days after it came out, but I just really wanted to discuss everything coming to version 1.3 and whether this livestream actually changes anything. Because in past livestreams, there's been some pretty terrible ones, there's been some pretty good ones, whether that's for Wuthering Waves or for any other game. And obviously, Wuthering Waves has been in a little bit of a dry patch recently, and the Black Shores was something that people were saying was going to kind of revive the game and keep people playing. So in this video, we're going to be talking about everything to do with this live stream and talking about whether, this actually did save the game or if it was an absolute failure. But before I get into this video, don't forget to leave a like and subscribe if you enjoy it. And also go to GameSubs, use my code KAZO where you can get yourself 10% off a ton of cups and tubs. They got some really cool designs over there, and I just recommend going over and checking out the link down below. But let's get back into the video. So whenever going into this live stream, I was kind of expecting there to be nothing too huge, but maybe a couple of things that would be kind of exciting. But I actually came out of this genuinely kind of happy, This seemed like a very genuine live stream compared to a lot of the Hoyoverse ones, which we see. They're kind of corporate and they seem kind of like staged, which obviously they are, and obviously they have that whole setup. And even the Wuthering Waves live stream here was kind of, staged as, they've got a whole set and everything. And it seems like they're on some kind of like beach area, which I thought was very cool, and it's kind of setting the mood for the Black Shores. But what felt different was that Wuthering Waves somehow managed to make it seem much more like one-on-one with the developers than like some kind of big, live TV show or something like that. How, Genshin Impact, Honkai Star, those kind of games do it. Now, I don't want to compare them too much. Obviously, this is Wuthering Waves' update, but they've actually added a ton of really cool stuff to the game. Obviously, the characters are a very big part of any gacha game update, and we got a look at the Shorekeeper, and honestly, she looks amazing. The devs themselves said that she could be some kind of alternative to Verena, so she's going to be doing a little bit of healing and stuff, and she had some really cool effects, obviously to do with all the butterflies. And again, overall, her kit looks really nice, and it really fits in with a lot of the other characters. Obviously, Wuthering Waves has her own unique style whenever it comes to creating a lot of the abilities, and the Shorekeeper definitely fits into this, also being very cool and very unique. We also got a look at Yuhu as well. She's got a very cool character design too. They've actually implemented a new kind of game mechanic, which I thought looked cool. I didn't really understand how it exactly worked, but I guess we'll have to find out whenever she comes out to the game. And overall, the characters were pretty solid, and it's even got me guessing whether I want to pull for the Shorekeeper or Camellya, or even both. Because again, the Shorekeeper is just that well designed. Now, obviously, the main part of this live stream was to showcase the Black Shores, and again, I think they've done a very good job with that as well. The overall dark design of the area and the apocalyptic feel to the story as well. They obviously had a trailer for the upcoming story coming with this new region, and again, I think overall they've done a very good job with it, and I think it's definitely going to bring a lot of players back to the game. They also actually showcased later on in the stream that the Black Shores is actually kind of like a separate area to Jinzhou and the overall Huanglong area, so you can pretty much go into the map and select a different area. They pretty much described it as an archipelago, which again is very cool to see, and it kind of hints that we're going to be able to see more regions in the future soon, and they obviously have the tech to do it because they can separate up the maps. So it will be very interesting to see what kind of happens after the Black Shores comes out, and obviously this is just the start. They've also actually included a lot of the other characters too, like Alto and Encore. I definitely think that's a very cool addition to the story, obviously because, Wuthering Waves could have just included the Shorekeeper and the Rover, and maybe one other character like Camellya, and called it a day because it's just easier to have the dialogue between 2-3 characters. But they've actually added more characters to the story, which also makes sense to the story, which I think is very good, as we've got a lot of characters that are 5 stars and 4 stars that haven't really been, delved into in their story very much. And Encore also got a companion story, and people that like Encore can kind of delve into that and, find out more about her past and what kind of character she is. Obviously, with this new area too, we also get a ton of new events that are coming to the game, including a free temple, which is very cool. I'd say a free temple is free 10 pools. Obviously, some of them are standard, some of them are limited. So again, that's very nice and very generous from Kuro Games. Obviously, they've done it pretty much every single update, which is great to see. Now, we didn't get any free 5-star or free 4-star this time, but I think, they can kind of get away with it, seeing as they literally gave away a limited 5-star, last version. So again, it's very cool to see that they've added this temple, even after everything they've given away in the past. But they've also added a couple of other events too, including one for the exploration of the Black Shores, which I think is very good, because if you remember the Mount Firmament version, they actually did a very good job in including a quest or an event which pretty much gave you some rewards for exploring the area, which actually motivated me more to explore more of the area and just unlock more things, because I wanted those pools. So I definitely think that's going to work with the Black Shores as well. And also, the Black Shores has a very complicated design, it seems like, It's going to be like shifting in between dimensions and stuff. I can't wait to dive into that event because it seems like we're going to be able to get a lot of rewards from that. We also got a ton of other events too, which also give away even more rewards, which again is extremely exciting. I can't wait to try all of them out in the game as well. And there's also this little moment between the devs here. Obviously, we have Dong, who is the producer, and we've talked about him a lot in the past. And also we had this other producer, I forgot exactly what his name was, but again, they had this little moment where they're talking about like optimizations and kind of improving stuff based on player feedback, which I thought was a very nice touch because again, as I said at the start with like Genshin Impact and Honkai Star Rail streams, they don't really talk much about the feedback of players unless it's like positive, you know? They might say, oh, the feedback for the game has been so positive recently, but these guys were actually like, okay, we've been listening to your problems and we're trying to fix them kind of thing. They said they've done so many optimizations and taken so many tickets from players, you know, pretty much giving their opinion and, you know, reporting incidents with the game that they can fix, and you know they've been trying to fix it as much as they can, and they said that they're dedicated to fixing it in the future, which I think is pretty much all we can ask for from Wuthering Waves. And I think that's how they do stuff differently to a lot of other gacha games. It's the fact that they actually listen, but also the fact that they actually make changes too, and it seems like they're doing this with the Black Shores. Obviously they've heard us saying that, you know, the past couple of updates with Jeji and Zhangli Yao have been a little bit slow. They haven't been terrible, but they've been a little bit slower as, you know, compared to the release of the game, and they've actually stepped up their game with the Black Shores, and it seems like, you know, we're back on track to, you know, a really, really good story, and just overall a really good update in general. And I think another thing that I really enjoyed about this live stream was the fact that I enjoyed the overall live stream without there being any kind of massive reward. Usually people are like, we need a free 5-star, we need this, we need that for it to be a good live stream. But I think a lot of people collectively have just gone, this was a good live stream regardless of the rewards. You know, they've added so much content, so much story, so many events, just all this kind of stuff that players are very excited about, that the rewards are just kind of like a nice thing on top. And the players aren't kind of, you know, crowding around it and hoping to see this kind of stuff. I mean, they had 25,000 people watching on the YouTube live stream. I don't know if they did it on Twitch as well. I'm not sure. But again, that is still a lot of players. Obviously, it's nowhere near like kind of Hoyoverse standards. But again, I still think 25,000 proves how many people are still invested in this game. I've also got to think that TwitchCon was also going on at exactly the same time. So a lot of the creators that usually cover this stuff aren't watching this live stream. Obviously, Mr. Pokey's away, Tektone's away, Bob Master's away. There's so many people that are at TwitchCon who aren't reacting to this, or, you know, haven't reacted to it while it came out. They might do it later on. Obviously, there's probably videos out by the time this video comes out of them reacting to it, maybe in a separate kind of thing. It does have kind of an effect on the overall hype for the game and for the live stream. But again, I think it'll be fine once these creators come back and, you know, start talking about it whenever they're back. And it's just kind of unfortunate timing from Kuro Games there. But again, at the same time, I still think they've done a very, very good job regardless of how many creators are there or not. And not to mention, there's still many very popular creators covering it on stream at the moment, which have brought a lot of attention to the game. So that's really good to see. And also, another thing that I really liked was the fact that they added a ton of codes into the live stream, but they didn't make them random codes like we see in some of the Hoyoverse ones. Obviously, you know, with the Hoyoverse ones, they have a code with like random letters and numbers and stuff, which gets really confusing, especially whenever you're just trying to input it into the game. Whereas these ones, they made easy to follow codes, which everyone can kind of input, with them being like Black Shores, Shorekeeper, and For You, or something like that. I think that's what it was. And again, these were some really, really nice changes, I think, because it's really easy to follow and it allows people to use the codes more. And it kind of like stops that barrier of entry, because a lot of people just won't bother with the codes if it's too complicated, meaning that they might not even go over to the game and, you know, boot it up. So again, I think that's a really good move from Wuthering Waves there. And they also included a lot of the quality of life updates they made. Obviously, I talked a little bit about this at the start, but they've made improvements to the UI, teleporting, echoes, everything like that. Again, we're in 1.3 and they're already making quality of life updates. I think that's absolutely amazing, especially with stuff like the UI. Obviously, it's a really, really small part of the game, but even seeing that change, you know, it makes a massive difference. And it's really exciting to see them, you know, already working on a ton of these quality of life changes so early on in the game. And then finally, they actually announced whenever the update will come out, and that's the 29th of September. I don't know if that was actually mentioned before this live stream or anything. But again, yeah, we're going to be seeing this on the 29th. So again, it's just less than a week away by the time this video comes out. So I'm very excited for this to come out, and I can't wait to see a lot of the stuff that the Black Shores has to bring. But yeah, that's pretty much all I had to say about the live stream. Honestly, I think this was an absolutely amazing live stream. As I said literally just a second ago, I'm very excited to play it. Again, I can't really put it into words how excited I am. But this is very promising. I can't wait to see some of the future updates that Kuro Games brings out as well with, you know, version 2.0 and stuff. and what kind of rewards and what kind of events they can give us, and also how they can make the story even more interesting than it already is. But yeah, let me know down in the comments what you guys think. Do you think that this live stream was a good live stream, or do you think that it was a failure and that you didn't think it was as good as a lot of people are saying it is? But yeah, that's about all I got for this video. If you did enjoy it, then don't forget to leave a like and subscribe. And as I said, go over to GameStats, use my code Kazo, where you can get yourself 10% off a ton of cups and tubs. I definitely recommend going over there. And yeah, I will see you guys in the next one. That's all. See ya.